racism question, which I talk about a lot in my book, no. The reason Americans are sensitive to the race issue particularly is because of the legacy of slavery and Jim Crow. That's why we have civil rights laws. That's why we have affirmative action and set-asides. But then suddenly one day, out of the blue, people used to talk about integration all the time. It was integration. You don't discriminate against black people, which we had to spend 100 years teaching the Democrats not to do. But that is all about American blacks. It's not about someone who has never set foot in this country before. It's liberals who are the racists who say, oh, you're all brown, we're going to treat you like American blacks. And it's really kind of shocking. I mean, I don't know if maybe some of you know this. Jesse Jackson used to stand at the border denouncing the illegal immigrants coming across. Cesar Chavez denounced them as wetbacks, driving down the wages of the poor. But today, you can arrive from, the Sudan yesterday. You will get affirmative action applying to college. You will get affirmative action applying for government business loans. The 14th Amendment was about one thing, again, utterly insulting to black Americans. The 14th Amendment, why was that passed? So that someday La Raza could usher across Mexican women who were 8.5 months pregnant. They could drop a baby and say, you didn't catch me. I'm an American citizen now. No, people don't put trap doors in a constitution. A secret trap door, ooh, this will surprise them. To get an amendment passed, you need a mass feeling about a big thing. We had just fought a civil war to force, again, the Democrats to stop enslaving blacks. The 14th Amendment is absolutely exclusively about black Americans. That's what it's about. And by the way, it's not about gay marriage either, but they're at least gay Americans. Here we're talking about people who've never set foot on U.S. soil before, playing a game of Red Rover with our Border Patrol for the most precious possession in the universe, citizenship in this country.
As myself, when I went to Nairobi, when I lived in Kenya, I went to take. When I went to South Africa, I went to take. When I went to Dubai, I went to take. I did not go to build the countries, because in my country where I come from, I am poor, and I left my country because there is nothing for me to do. I didn't see any ways of getting rich in my country, so I decided to come to other countries to take, to do something for myself. So, unfortunately, I can't tell my African-American brothers and sisters that when African people come to America, expect them to build with you. No, we're here to take. We are here to take. The American government, like right now, it's welcoming immigrants like nobody's business. Every African person who is in a dire situation or who sees there's an opportunity for me to get a green card, they would do whatever it takes to come to America, knowing very well that the government right now is prioritizing foreigners instead of its own people, which is not my fault. My own business is to come there and grab whatever I can. And if your government is supporting me to take as much as I can, who am I to refuse? Who doesn't want to live in America? So don't be surprised when you see these African men or African women get with older men or older women just to get the green card. That is what we do, because we are in a dire situation in our countries. So we are running away to come to your country so we can have a better life, because, I mean, who does not know about the American dream? And then if we come and then Joe Biden pampers us and forgets that he has Democrats to take care of, it's none of our business. That's the reality. That's the reality. When we come there, don't expect us to build America for who? You have a lot we are here to take. That's the truth. And I know I might sound arrogant, but I'm not a person who sugarcoats the truth. So when we come to your countries, just know we are not here to have mercy on you. We are here to take.
So you can want Tootsie your monkey ass back to Africa if you want to.
Various groups, feminist, gay rights groups, and those who are defending immigrants have commandeered the black civil rights experience. Yes. What do you mean by that?
Yes, I'm glad you asked that, because I think it's one of the most important points of the book. I mean, I think the way liberals have treated blacks like children, and many of their policies have been harmful to blacks. At least they got the beneficiary group right. We do have to, I mean, we shouldn't there is the legacy of slavery and Jim Crow laws. We don't owe the homeless. We don't owe feminists. We don't owe women who are desirous of having abortions, but that's or gays who want to get married to one another. That's what civil rights has become for much of the left. They dropped the blacks after 5 minutes.
Immigrant rights are not civil rights?
No, I think civil rights are for blacks.
See, this is essentially the problem, and the Republicans
What have we done to the immigrants? We owe black people something. We have a legacy of slavery. Immigrants haven't even been in this country.
But you see, most of us are either immigrants or are the descendants of immigrants, and
well,
we understand that not everybody. There are Native Americans, but we understand in this country. Understand in this country that kind of self-deportation, making things so difficult for immigrants, for undocumented immigrants, that they have to leave, or the DREAM Act, vetoing, threatening to veto the DREAM Act, which is what Romney has said. I mean, and again, we have Governor Romney, who is basically taking a position that is anti a large and the fastest growing segment of the electorate.
And here's the thing, if Republicans don't do something with immigration, and if Republicans are so far away from Latinos, they're going to lose not only this election, they might lose the White House for generations.
The future.
And Texas to turn
That's why the Democrats are dropping the blacks and moving on to the Hispanics, because they're a larger group of Hispanics now. But could I just...
We can now promptly file to proceed with numerous policies that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis. And some of the cases we're talking about would be ending birthright citizenship, which now comes to the fore. That was meant for the babies of slaves. It wasn't meant for people trying to scam the system and come into the country on a vacation. This was, in fact, it was the same date, the exact same date, the end of the Civil War. It was meant for the babies of slaves, and it's so clean and so obvious. But this lets us go there and finally win that case, because hundreds of thousands of people are pouring into our country under birthright citizenship, and it wasn't meant for that reason. It was meant for the babies of slaves. So thanks to this decision, we can now promptly file to proceed with these numerous policies and those that have been wrongly enjoined on a nationwide basis, including birthright citizenship, ending sanctuary city funding, suspending refugee resettlement, freezing unnecessary funding, stopping federal taxpayers from paying for transgender surgeries, and numerous other priorities of the American people. We have so many of them. I have a whole list. I'm not going to bore you, and I'm going to have Pam get up and say a few words, but there's really, she can talk as long as she wants, because this is a very important decision. This is a decision that covers a tremendous amount of territory. But I want to just thank, again, the Supreme Court for this ruling. It's a giant. It's a giant. And they should be very proud, and our country should be very proud of the Supreme Court.
We are a nation of immigrants. But there's a difference, stark difference, between giving citizenship to the children of slaves, the children of those subject to the Middle Passage, the children of sharecroppers, and the children of those who were once considered property, and giving citizenship to the children of people who crossed the border illegally, stay in taxpayer-funded luxury hotels, who receive free Xboxes, free cell phones, free flights around the country, and 3 square meals a day. There's a big difference. My great-great-grandfather was born on a plantation, Rosedown Plantation in Louisiana. He had to join the Union Color Guard to gain his freedom. By morphing the citizenship clause into something that it wasn't meant to be, it's demeaning to descendants of slaves like me. And not just me who served this country, but my father is a retired colonel. My sister went to West Point as a retired colonel. My brother went to West Point. We are talking about a direct descendant of a slave that earned the right to be in this country and passed that ilk down to his ancestry. People bled for it. People died for it. And it means something. Allowing birthright citizenship to stay in place dilutes the citizenship of not just Black Americans like me, but every single American citizen that had to earn it the right way. Let's say this in black and white. Either you're a U.S. citizen or you are not. Now, the left has spent decades cheapening what it means to be an American citizen. They've quite literally been chipping away at the basic value of American citizenship. They pretend to be altruistic, but we know the truth. Ozzy Osbourne's daughter said on The View that we have to let illegal immigrants in this country because who else will clean our toilets? We hear it all the time. Who will pick our crops? And even though that we know that American citizens are the majority of those people picking our crops, we know what you're insinuating. And all this must end now. The left throws love thy neighbor in our face, and they say that we have to have open borders in order to be nice to people. Well, I ask them to tell the left, we have a bunch of neighbors right here in our country that are Americans. You see, your neighbors are the homeless veterans that you drive by to work. Our neighbors are the wayward teens running away from a bad home environment. Your neighbors are the families who just got evicted from their apartment. What do all those neighbors have in common? They're all Americans. And let's use our American tax-paying dollars to put Americans first. Newsflash, this is why President Trump is our president, because it's past due that we put the American citizen first.
The fact is the 14th Amendment was established to give black people, formerly enslaved people, equal protection under the law. And the fact is that this is actually a draw for illegal immigrants who are taking advantage of our rights and privileges, frankly, that African Americans worked for hundreds of years before they were even acknowledged. And part of the reason that people are so upset, particularly in the African American community, is you see liberals giving illegal immigrants more resources and rights than blacks have gotten in 400 years. And that is a part of the disconnect that a lot of liberals don't see. The fact of the matter is that we need to take a look at this. We need to see where our laws are being abused and then address that. I'm sure it's going to be taken up in court, but the fact of the matter is this: the 14th Amendment was established to give black people equal protection under the law, and I don't think that illegal immigration was figured into the constitutionality argument when our founders drew up that document.
This land was made for you and me.
So Donald Trump has made it his official policy to recognize the 14th Amendment as being specifically for the descendants of American slavery. This is Donald Trump giving a shout out to the FBA movement. Donald Trump supports the FBAs. I've been making this argument for a while now that a concept like blood and soil, something that you hear thrown around by the far right, white nationalist crowd, it actually applies to black Americans uniquely, way more so than it does any black people living in a Western nation. So when an Irish black person says, there's no such thing as an Irish black person, by the way. But when, one of these African transplants in Ireland says, we built Ireland, when one of these Windrush generation kids say that we built the UK.
It's not about what you did, it's your ancestors. It's directly linked to you. The reason why you're thriving today is because of what my people did. The reason why you're here today is because of what your people did to my people. You don't do anything for this country. You're a disgrace. You're a disgrace. The reason why you're in these streets were built by my ancestors.
It's all made up. It's totally not real. But for black Americans to say that we've built America, we have blood and soil in this country, we've been on the front lines of every conflict, we were here from the ground up, it's actually true. Blood and soil applies to black America. And with this new executive order, what Trump is attempting to do is pull black America closer to a blood and soil nationalism, a proper black American nationalism. And I support that. Thank you, President Trump.
Back to Mother Africa. That's bullshit. Without question, we are all black Americans.